podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, my co-host is Bricky, and he is going to be hitting us with some really ridiculous Warhammer 40k stuff. But before he does, if you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you get access to our Discord, bloopers if they happen, a Nyan Nyan Neko Catboy Cadian Guard poster. That's the $15 tier, though, so just so you know. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff there. So if you want to support the podcast, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, how's the merch? What's our book club looking like?
The merch, it's orchidate.com. That's the merch. Check out the merch. It's down there. It's in the description. It's merch. And book club, we're doing Gaskell, Thraka, Prophet of the Wa. Make sure you get that done a little faster than normal, because the episode will be done faster than normal to make up for the Krieg book. I'm DK, I'm so mad.
Yeah, you sound mad. You sound a little congested too, my boy.
Dude, I get sick so often and I don't know why. I don't leave the house enough to get sick, but maybe that's the reason why I'm getting sick, because oh my god.
Maybe. So is that trip to PAX, dude?
It was. So if I sound congested in the video, to everyone watching, it's simply put that I had COVID, and apparently some of the effects of COVID like to linger. And so now, randomly, my nose is congested and my throat hurts. But I mean, like, I feel normal. Like, I feel like energy-wise, I feel fine.
Yeah.
It's just
you don't feel like bedridden and like you need to rest all day. It's just you're congested.
God looked down at me and said, "I deem you to use one nostril."
Ew, gross.
And he's a bastard for doing it.
This is why I'm agnostic. So what's our topic today? What are we moving on to?
I got a quote for you, but unfortunately none of the quotes are particularly vague enough to make it actually involve any kind of intrigue and making you guess. Because if I were to say this quote, I mean, you'll know exactly what it is. But
I don't know.
DK, I have faith in you at this point.
That makes one of us.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But
look, even Shy said she said I'm pretty dumb.
Okay, just I've already probably said this quote in the prior episode, but I'm gonna say it again because it's a fun one. We cannot live through this. Mankind cannot live through this. In a single day, they have covered this planet with a flood of living blades and needle-fanged mouths. Kill one and 10 take its place. If they are truly without number, then our race is doomed to a violent death before every shred of our civilization is scoured away by a force more voracious than the fires of hell themselves. Death! By the machine god, death is here. Magos Varnak, last words.
That sounds pretty Tyranid to me.
Yeah, it's Tyranids.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're right. That's okay. Yeah, that was a pretty.
See, I had faith.
I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. But specifically, what about the Tyranids? Like, is there a specific faction? What is it? The Octarius War that's going on right now, where the Nids and the Orcs are kind of going all out and bolstering their numbers. What specific Tyranid shenanigans are we dealing with?
That's a very long introduction for me just to say the Hive Fleets. We're talking about the individual Hive Fleets and what each I am, and what. Oh no, it's gone downhill. Don't ever say I didn't do anything for you.
Anyway, Hive Fleets, eh? Let's talk about Hive Fleets.
Yes, let's talk about Hive Fleets. So, we're talking about the different kinds of Hive Fleets that are known around in the galaxy and kind of what they're all about. What the differentiating traits are of them, and well, we're mainly gonna be going over the ones you can play as, because when it's more, I think it's fun to start with those because then you can kind of create your own. Like if you want to play Tyranids, you can then like, okay, I want to play Tyranids in this way. This one is interesting to me, so I will play as this Hive Fleet.
Right, cool.
Sorry, I had to mute myself so I could throw the fuck up. Do you think it's topical that we're filming this when I'm all congested and shit, while we're talking about like a genuinely like poison. I guess Death Guard would be a little bit more better, but like, you know, they poison and they've got their problems and they infect and they have parasites and viruses and.
Yeah, I think it would be more topical if we were talking about Nurgle. Now, if you were like bug bombing your house and you were in a remote location, that would be more Tyranid applicable. Yeah. I would say if we were doing like Nurgle and Grandpapa Nurgle's blessings, then it would be apropos. I think this maybe a little bit of a stretch on the sick because of bugs and infestation, but you know,
It's a little bit of a stretch, I suppose. But regardless,
yeah.
so let's start talking about Hive Fleet. So,
all right,
the first one we gotta talk about is the one that's one of the most classics, and that is Hive Fleet Behemoth. Hive Fleet Behemoth. With the name alone, if you had to guess, what do you think they specialize in?
I mean, Behemoth, I would assume they specialize in the old monster mash, and they've just got lots of big bugs and just giant roving creatures with big muscles and big fangs.
You are absolutely correct. Behemoth is known for being big and fucking chunk. They are the ones that they were the first ever Tyranid Hive Fleet to be encountered in the first tyrannical war on Ultramar.
Oh, nice. So they fucked up Ultramar.
They were the ones. They were the ones that made Marnius Calgar a triple cripple, and that's
triple cripple. I don't like.
Yeah, he lost like both of his arms and legs, or his like arm and leg or whatever. You know.
Sounds like something the Halo announcer would say on like a kill. Triple cripple. Social credit deducted. I love that he's getting so much attention on Cameo.
It's very nice. It's happy to see. But the Hive Fleet Behemoth is the main one that attacked Ultramar. They are a juggernaut when it comes to them. Like they lack in numbers, they make up for just sheer aggression and uncontrollable hunger. There's no subtlety or real cunning. It's just laughable resilience and just overwhelming mass.
Damn.
Like why swarm me with a bunch of bugs when instead you can literally shoulder check a tank?
Damn. So they are the Hive Fleet you play if you are indeed gonna go like Monster Mash and just roll out with like the big units instead of trying to like overrun with numbers. Like if you were playing on the tabletop, Behemoth is like the Monster Mash.
They're definitely known for. I mean, from a lore perspective, sure. I think that there are some Hive Fleets on the tabletop that are just better because they're just balanced differently, and that's a balance problem. But for instance, Hive Fleet Behemoth is known for like when you get into combat and melee, you get extra strength, and you can re-roll your charges, so you can get in better. And a lot of your special buffs are like there's a relic, and it says occasionally a Hive Fleet Behemoth warrior organism will epitomize its Hive Fleet name by growing to colossal and appallingly powerful proportions, and it's like add 1 to the damage that the wielder is using, you know.
All right. They pretty popular.
Granted, Behemoth is less so, I think, at least in the current moment. I mean, they're the popular looking ones, but in the gameplay right now, I think Leviathan is the most popular.
Okay. Cool.
But they're big, scary, tough. You know, their warlord trait, monstrous hunger, psychic power, unstoppable onslaught, stratagem, unparalleled ferocity. You know, big chunk. Less to talk about because they're just about big and chunk, but you know, interestingly enough.
Yeah. Those are some really cool sounding stratagems. Those are dope. Holy shit.
Yeah, I like their GW's naming sequence quite a lot. It's a lot of fun. The next one is Hive Fleet Kraken. Hive Fleet Kraken is another major Hive Fleet, though they've actually been kind of fucked up quite a bit. They're still around, but they took some pretty hefty casualties. They were the main group in the second Tyrannic War, which we haven't discussed yet. This one, I think, were they the ones who fought at Baal? No, that was somebody else. That was Leviathan. This one instead traveled through and did fighting against the Ultramarines again. But their big fighting was against an Eldar craft world of, I think it was Lianden. And that was the big thing, is they fucked up a craft world, one of the largest and most populous craft worlds, and they were only repelled by a fancy Eldar prince named Prince Uriel, and with a fancy spear, and that's what, you know.
So they got magic bullshit that they needed to fend off the Kraken.
I mean, most of the time, whenever the Tyranids lose, it's some kind of magic bullshit, whether it's on the Marine side or on the Eldar side. But I also think Kane also fought Kraken. And I like Caiaphas, Caiaphas Kane.
Oh, the hero of the Imperium.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think the Tau also helped a little bit with that one. But Kraken as a faction is mainly about speed. The idea is that they are really good at outmaneuvering and encircling their prey. Like the tiniest little gap or exploit, they just go, they fly on in. So, like warlord traits called one step ahead. Their relic is chameleonic. It's like chameleon, but chameleonic.
Yeah, sure. That sounds right.
That was hard to pronounce. Chameleonic mutation, and then they're like opportunistic advance is their stratagem. So the idea is that they move with lightning fast speed, and then they encircle the enemy and really get on them like that. I think they're actually pretty darn solid, because as a faction, because they increase your like armor penetration because you encircle them, but just being able to move that fast. You know, like they're big brain. They got big brain. They're very smart. They're very quick, and they're very like, the defenses are weak in here and there, and skitter us through and around. You know.
So that sounds like a pretty formidable hive fleet. Because I mean, normally when you think of bugs, you just think, oh, they're a hive fleet. They're just gonna keep rushing at us in overwhelming numbers. But then you got like this speedy, big brain, sort of surround you and conquer, and that's scary.
They're bigger brain.
I don't like smart bugs. I don't want smart bugs. I want bugs that'll just walk into the fire. I don't need this big brain shit.
You want to read this quote because I'm dying?
Yeah, sure. Shai posted this quote: "Mystery of Adri's Hope. A refugee ship from Devlin arrives in orbit around Adri's Hope, ominously silent. Those investigating the ship find it to be an abattoir, all aboard mercilessly butchered. Though a breach of quarantine is suspected to have allowed a Tyranid organism to get aboard, nothing is found. 3 weeks later, all contact is lost with the Adri's Hope."
Yeah, they're sneaky.
Spooky, sneaky.
I think they also like to pre-infest with gene stealers quite often. They like their gene stealer cults, you know, because it's like kind of part of their long game.
Yeah, definitely. I guess the name Kraken kind of fits, because when you think of a Kraken, it kind of shows up out of nowhere. You're surrounded by tentacles, and then you're just fucked. So, I mean, the name is kind of fitting, right?
Yeah, there's actually I actually want to go back. There's a quote here for both Behemoth and Kraken I've noticed in on the codex itself.
Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
It says for Behemoth, it says, "We went in by boarding torpedo. Our mission was to extract Megos whatever before the foremost swarms overran Liania's station. Once we had him, extraction was a flight of Thunderhawks waiting on the Sector 3 platforms. I fought Tyranids before, we all have, but I've never seen them move with such single-minded ferocity. They tore through every bulkhead and barricade in their path as though they weren't there. I could not feel fear, but I tell you now, I have never felt more like prey than I did on Liania's station." Brother Amadio of the Death Watch chapter. And then there is Kraken here, which is, "Nothing in this galaxy beats a platoon of Catachin jungle fighters in the deep green. That's what I thought. Then again, I also thought nothing living could make it through that ravine on our right flank. Choked with thornweed, orcsmare, those damn puffball things big as an ogren's head. They came through all the same. Still don't know how. Thrown damn nids just pouring out like pyro wasps from a burrow. Outmaneuvered and outfought in the deep green by dirty Xenos animals. I'll take that shame to my grave." Captain Vance Stryker, Catachin 86th Glade Stalkers, court-martial testimony.
Damn, those are some serious quotes for the Nids. Holy shit.
It's always fun hearing the quotes for the Nids because it's like them being so fucking frightened.
I've never felt more like prey.
Yeah, a Death Watch Space Marine says that.
Yeah, saying that. Holy shit. Okay, Nids are serious. I mean, I guess they've always been serious, but like that's.
It's fun when you hear like horror stories.
Mm-hmm.
So our next major Hive fleet is Hive Fleet Leviathan. Now this one you should be very familiar with. This is the Octarius War one.
Hey, let's go.
They have the ones that like the giant tendrils of Leviathan decide to go under the galaxy and make their way up. Mm-hmm. The main thing about Leviathan is that they are shockingly adaptive. They are trial and error carnage. It is never ending. Like, okay, we're throwing things at the enemy. Okay. Yep. All right. Turn the dials, crank the levers, adjust the biomass again. And they just keep going. This like combined relentless adaptive assault.
Damn. So they really were the worst ones to throw at the orcs. Like, if you could have any Hive fleet not get into a war with the orcs, you really probably don't want Leviathan to do it, since they're so adaptable. They've got so many numbers. Oof, boy, that's oof. Yeah, that's
the Tyranids. The oh dear fucking god, this don't fuck you. Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled.
What? What did I say?
You know what you said. You wrote it in his dream journal.
It's fair enough.
However, the Leviathan is the largest Hive fleet currently around, as noted by the horrifying images of the tendrils of Hive fleet Leviathan. I'd also argue that this is probably the best Hive fleet to play in game right now. They're really, really tough and tanky. And their synaptic network is really powerful. It's the names for their stuff is like Warlord trait, perfectly adapted. Psychic powers, Hive Nexus. It says the Hive mind funnels Leviathan's sophisticated synaptic network through its conduits, enforcing its gestalt will among the Hive fleet's lesser organisms. Combined assault, preceptive node, synaptic control, all these kinds of things where it's like, yeah, we are dedicated to being the most adaptive, and we got the most numbers.
Okay.
They're spooky, but they're also a little bit basic when it comes to the overall nature of them. Like Behemoth is big and tough, but Leviathan is just, we're the super adaptive Nids.
Yeah. So are they the best to play in tabletop just because they're so tanky and so hard to kill and so adaptive?
Yeah, they have this rule that means you can't wound them on a 1 through 3 or a 1 through 2.
Ooh.
Basically, it just means that when you roll dice, you can sometimes like do your damage and you only need like a 2 or a higher, but they force it to be a 4 or a higher, which cuts your efficiency pretty heavily.
Yeah. Okay, I can see why they would be a very popular Hive fleet to play.
They're pretty darn good. They're pretty darn good. I'm kind of a fan of Jormungandr myself, but we'll get to that later on.
Okay.
Next Hive fleet is Hive fleet Gorgon. Now, Gorgon is a nasty one. It is mainly the high level of adaptations on the biological level of the Gorgons things. So they rapidly, advance themselves as well, but they rapidly advance themselves instead of to make themselves tankier, to make worse and worse organisms against who they fight. So it's hard to describe. They utilize heavily adaptive hypertoxins, weaponized clouds of spores and corrosive poisons, and like living ammunition. So they're like okay, we've tuned our guns so that when they hit you, a group of hyper disgusting piranha maggots eat your flesh away.
Oh, is that actually a thing?
I mean, they have living ammunition, so something like that probably, yeah.
Oh God, that's awful. Sorry,
Like,
go ahead. That's oh
no,
my
no, no.
God.
That's what it is. Is like their weapons are wreathed in miasma microorganisms that will
Oh
just
no.
eat your flesh away, or like they'll fire weapons that have things in them. So when you get shot by it, the thing is inside your body and starts eating your innards, and then it gets bigger
Ugh,
because it's
jeez.
corrosive and it's a Tyranid. Gorgon is all
Oh.
about like poison and miasma and
Oh.
toxic.
So whereas Leviathan is adaptable to make themselves more survivable, Gorgon is adaptable so that they can kill you quicker.
Yes.
So they're an offensive adaptability.
The toxins produced by High Fleet Gorgon swarm creatures adapt with terrifying speed to any prey, swiftly rendering even the most glancing of blows or skin contact potentially lethal.
Oh man, as horrible as the other Hive Fleet sound, I would not want to fight Gorgon. That sounds like just an absolutely torturous, awful, horrible way to die. Just getting eaten alive from the inside out and just having all this miasma and poison just.
What Warlord trait, lethal miasma. The air around the Warlord churns with microscopic spores that invade the bodies of its foes, devouring them from the inside.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it ain't fun. Gorgon's nasty.
Yeah. So I don't know. You were probably gonna get to this at some point, but do hive fleets ever like join each other and like
I will
fight?
get to that actually.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. I was just wondering because it sounds like if you combined Leviathan and Gorgon, you're so fucking fucked. Because you have like adaptable weaponry and adaptable defenses, and it's like nope, you're dead. Just
The problem is that
dig your own grave.
you would have to sometimes fight over the biomass, which is its own issue.
Oh, that's fair.
But there is a little bit of a symbiotic relationship with some other ones that we will talk about later.
Okay.
Quote from Gorgon. Cussedid scholars spent hours in debate over the nature and intent of the Tyranid menace. Some amongst them claim that, unlike the infernal servants of the dark gods or the ghoulish flesh thieves of Kamara, the Tyranid cannot be considered truly evil or cruel. They claim that all it does is driven by a pure predatory instinct rather than by some higher or indeed lower purpose. But I have seen the Gorgon open its jaws and vomit forth its malignant spawn. I have seen it contort and agonize its prey before their miserable deaths, and I tell you now, the Tyranid is the very embodiment of evil and of cruelty. Sister Hospitaller, Amalika Hope.
Damn. Tyranid quotes are the best.
Yeah, they're really fun. It's really fun to think that concept and how just nasty it'd be. I know that the Tau particularly got fucked up by Gorgon. And I think oh wait, Shai has the quote here. You want to read it?
Is that a Gorgon? Is that a picture of a Gorgon?
I think Gorgon are
Tyranid?
green. Yeah, they're green and
those
nasty.
Those things are nasty. Okay. In 075902.M41, dozens of bioships detached from the main Gorgon hive fleet and invaded the Tau colony of Kamaias, I hope. This triggered the emergence of an unexpected Necron fleet from Kakaias' dead moon, which then set about destroying the outnumbered Tyranid ships. On Kai Mas, a day of celebration was declared, and as the Necrons landed, they were greeted with great ceremony by ethereal Ontaniel. Despite the welcome, Ontaniel was quickly slain by the Necrons, and Kamaias was then harvested.
That's really funny and so Tau. That's so Tau.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Nids are killing us all. The Necrons kill the Nids. Yay, thanks Necrons. Welcome. Dies to Necrons.
Yep, that's so Necron.
You know what's funny is we've read the Necron books, and they're probably like, what the fuck are these primitives saying? What are they saying? Oh my god, they're blue. Why are they blue? Oh my god, disgusting. Kill them.
Kill
Kill
them
them all.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Like murder all of them. Just, oh my god. Oh my god, I hate this stuff. The CEO of racism back at it again.
Typical Necrons.
Very
very typical Necrons.
Gorgon actually in game actually has a really fun method. The idea is that when they attack an enemy unit, you know how I said like before you can only hurt them Leviathan on like a 4-up?
Yeah.
Well, now whenever they attack an enemy, they always hurt them on a 4-up, no matter what, unless it's a vehicle, because vehicles don't, you know. And so often you can spam a whole bunch of really weak weapons and then still hurt them because of all your toxins.
Damn.
It's pretty
Gorgon
fun, actually.
Sounds gnarly. How popular is Gorgon in the tabletop?
Not very, unfortunately. I think it's because big monsters are really, really, really fucking strong right now. And so in order to make Gorgon useful to always wound on a 4-up, you want to take a lot of cheap, crappy weapons. And normally you don't. The cheap weapons aren't as good now as the big monsters in Tyranids.
Yeah.
At least
it's a shame because they sound so cool.
I mean, I think Tyranids right now are so incredibly overpowered that I don't think it would matter. I think you could easily make them work. But it's just the fact that big stuff is stronger.
Yeah, and it looks a lot cooler. The big monsters of the Tyranid look so fucking cool on the tabletop.
They really do. Next up is Jormungandr.
Let's go, the waifu hive fleet. We both picked.
Sure. Jormungandr. Do you know what Jormungandr is from? Like the name?
Oh, I should. I really should. Oh my god, is it the? Oh no, I've drawn a complete blank.
It's the world serpent in Norse mythology.
Oh, I genuinely was thinking. I was genuinely thinking World Serpent, but I wasn't sure if I was confusing it with what's the Alice in Wonderland thing? The Jabberwock, I guess I was confusing it with, and I didn't know which of those was which, and I just I hate it.
Nah, the big serpenty boy from God of War. Jormungandr.
Jormungandr, yeah.
Yormi to his closest friends. That's what Mimir in the little head says. It just made me giggle. Anyway, Jormungandr is not a particularly large hive fleet, but they got a bunch of biomass by invading like unprotected worlds and stuff like that. The way Jormungandr works is they favor a lot more subtle and more like siege tactics. Their giant biovessels rarely actually enter orbit. Instead, they grab asteroids and other space debris and yeet them at the planets. And then they also launch spores in concert with them. So they're throwing a bunch of debris, but the debris is sometimes infected with spores among other random things that make planetfall. And these will often have things like Raveners or Molochs or Trigons, and they will immediately bury themselves underground to avoid detection. And so once there's a critical mass of things being thrown and spores and new things, like all of these underground burrowing things will then just pop up with a synaptic message and then start wreaking havoc everywhere.
Oh, they're sneaky fuckers, aren't they?
They're like they're ones that if you want to do like a tunneling kind of faction that loves to be underground and causing problems and being like assholes like that, this is the faction for that one.
Damn, I love the fact that they just fucking yeet all the rocks down, and it's like, oh yeah, some are just asteroids, some are not, and that's actually kind of cool. Also, like, I just wouldn't expect Tyranids to be subtle.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can be sneaky, because they're a predator. They lie in wait.
Yeah, it's just for some reason, whenever I think of Tyranids, I just think of this overwhelming swarm of bugs that just keeps moving forward, and it's just like, no, there's a lot more to the Nids than just these dumb bugs that move forward all the time, always. So this is enlightening, actually.
Enlightening
Me about the mindset of the Tyranids. Yeah.
Shy has a quote for you.
All right, so the quote is, Jormungandr appeared in the skies above Gedron II and hurled thousands of meteors into its atmosphere. The vast redoubt fortresses that protected the planet's hive cities destroyed many of these rocks. The remainder fell into the ocean. Jormungandr's bioships retreated, and Gedron II's governor declared the invasion over. Several months later, hosts of many-limbed Tyranid creatures burst into the lower halls of Geldron's II's fortification, slaughtering all in their path. As planetary defense forces scrambled to react, long-range scans picked up a colossal body of vessels entering orbit.
Yeah,
Damn.
they're sneaky little fuckers.
You got played, Geldron. You got played.
They got great names too. It's like tunnel networks or insidious threat, buried in wait, lurking maws, all that kind of stuff.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, they did. They got Among Us. The Nids vented. Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, the Nids vented. She's right. Shai's right.
The Nids vented. The Nids vented.
They're sus. These. They're sus. Jormungandr's
They're
sus.
sus. Are they sus, DK?
Yeah. Push the emergency meeting button. Anyway.
Okay.
What's the next hive fleet?
The next hive fleet is a fun one. This is Kronos. Ooh. Kronos is a interesting hive fleet for a couple of reasons. The main one is that Kronos were actually one of the hive fleets that had to deal a lot with the problems coming from the warp. And often because they had to fight a ton of chaos, but chaos is not biomass. It's warp fuckery.
Mm-hmm.
So they were having to constantly fight all of these chaos and warp entities, but were unable to get any kinds of things with it. And so the Kronos created adapted in two ways, because originally they could kind of deal with chaos to a certain extent, but Eye of Terror, gigantic rift broke in the world, all those other problems.
Yeah.
They have to deal with chaos a lot more now. So due to chaos being such a huge fan of attacking from range, or from melee, sorry, close range, Kronos have adapted themselves to not only make their shadow in the warp incredibly suffocating, like their anti-psychic powers are shockingly powerful and extend far more than normal, but they're mainly meant to be a shooty one, because chaos is amazing in close range. Kronos is a very long range weaponry kind of hive fleet. This is the one where if you want to fire stuff from a decent distance.
Okay, cool.
So
and that's their whole shtick?
That's their shtick, is that they fight, well, somewhat. They fight chaos from a distance, and because they fight chaos from a distance, they have to simultaneously rely on the Leviathan hive fleet for biomass. So this is the symbiotic relationship, is that hive fleets, Leviathan will go and has been starting to leave a little bit of its biomass like there, and then Kronos will take it up and eat it up to replenish their numbers, because they've been working so hard on dealing with chaos from range.
Oh, okay. So in return for holding off chaos, Leviathan gives them the biomass so that they can hold that front, and so that chaos doesn't fuck with them too much.
Exactly. It's
Gotcha.
it basically makes so that, like, yeah, chaos, Leviathan is able to use Kronos to deal with chaos, because chaos is such a problem.
Yeah. Especially for normal Tyranids, it would be a big problem.
Yeah, it's the same reason why they have an issue with like Necrons. I think that Kronos has fought Necrons maybe once. I don't remember exactly, but the long range firepower. Oh no, actually I don't think they have fought Necrons. I think I was wrong on that one. But
okay.
Yeah, chaos very melee. Kronos adapts by using lots of gun. And if you look at a lot of their stuff, their names are like Bio Barrage or Symbio Biostorm. But my favorite thing is they have a stratagem called the Deepest Shadow, which is if somebody ends up failing a psychic test, they just fail it, they roll poor, you can automatically do damage to them.
Oh hell yeah, let's go.
Just super fun.
Those are great names too. Those are fucking fantastic names.
The deepest shadow.
The shadow bio barrage.
Their warlord traits called soul hunger.
Ooh, great names for these. Tyranids get the best names for stratagems. Holy shit.
They have a quote too. It says,
Hey.
"The spawn of the great devourer came upon us as we combed the ruins of Shaistel. We sought to ready ourselves, expecting close quarters battle, yet these beasts did not surge to the attack, but instead buried us from afar with such ferocity that we were forced to quit the field. I weep to think of the lives lost that day. Bodies and spirit stones alike vanished into the maws of their killers. Yet the worst of it is that the creatures saw us not as foes, but merely fuel. We were raw materials to be harvested, ammunition to be reloaded before they returned to their true fight." It's like Thaggrael the Wanderer, which I believe is Eldar, because they're talking about spirit stones.
Tyranids have the best. They're literally just horror movie quotes.
Yep, it's all like freaked out, panic attack inducing people.
Yep. They didn't even see it. They just saw us as fuel. They didn't even see us as we were just fuel, ammunition to be reloaded. It's like, ooh, that's fucked up. I love it.
It is.
That's great.
It's fun as hell though.
Hell yeah.
And the final hive fleet I have on here. Well, I guess we'll talk about Ouroboros as well because Shai posted big titty Ouroboros. But
hell yeah.
The last one we gotta talk about, at least in terms of the ones you can play in game, is Hive Fleet Hydra. And Hive Fleet Hydra is a simple one. Blot out the sky with their numbers. Hyper aggressive, never ending, pure, just literally swarms, like floods of bodies. A wave of small little critters.
Well, the name makes sense then. If it's never ending, just like Hydra, if you cut off one head, two more grow, and it's a never-ending flood of nids. It's how popular are they on the tabletop? Because I mean,
not a ton.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't sound like they'd be super popular because it sounds like if you were gonna play Hydra, you would just get a shitload of really cheap shit and just push it forward as best you can. And in the tabletop, that's not always necessarily a great thing to do.
Yeah, but their color scheme is really fucking dope.
Oh, yeah. Shai said they have a Ronnie color scheme. Well, just because they have the same color scheme doesn't mean I'm going to simp for it the way I do Ronnie, Shai, okay? Please.
Well, this might be true. They are still... Also 4 arms. Imagine.
Imagine the possibilities. Well...
Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. 4 arms. Takes a pipe. Imagine. But like their names are obvious, like swarming insects, endless regeneration, critical mass. The way they work, the reason they're not as popular is because, yeah, one, you normally go into big bugs right now, but two, the main reason is that their ability is a little niche. It's whenever you make a melee attack against an enemy unit that has fewer models than you do, you get extra benefits. But of course, that might be pretty often if you run a lot of models. But maybe what if you fight like orcs?
Yeah.
A little harder, or sometimes guard. Yeah.
Like you said, little niche.
Little niche. Granted, their monsters do count as like, oh wait, for purpose of adaptation. Oh wait, no. Vehicles and monster models counts 5 models. Oh, it actually makes it worse. Oh yeah, shit. For a second I thought that your own vehicles and monsters count as 5. Well, do they? Vehicles and monster models each count as 5 models. That could mean both yours and the enemies. Because I guess that would make sense. You know, if you have a giant monster and you're fighting like 3 guys, it's a little bit more. It still feels like you're overpowering them. I actually don't know. I'd have to look that one up. But no, they're not as powerful in that sense. But it's just like, you want to run a flood of monsters, a flood of Hormagaunts and Ripper Swarms and all these things. This is the one.
Yeah. They don't sound as fun. They don't sound as fun to play, honestly.
Well, let's see about this quote and we'll determine.
Okay, let's do it.
How do you fight an enemy that grows stronger the harder you hit it? Oh, We grasped quickly enough that the more fire we poured into the swarms, the more of the scuttling horrors came surging through the hive tangle to avenge the dead. But what could we do? Stop shooting and just let them tear us apart? You think you can order your soldiers to put up their guns mid-battle while you, what, try to think of a way to defeat the foe that doesn't involve blasting them to bits? Laughable. We could only plow on as we had been trained for, and hope their reserves petered out before ours did. Let's just say that's the last day I trusted to hope. Marshal Karya Blaze, 674th Kovian Infantry.
Damn. Tyranid quotes are the best!
They're so much fun. They're so much fun.
They really are. I love it. I love that.
I must admit, despite the Tyranid Codex being the most overpowered thing I've ever seen, there is a really neat thing. So the way Tyranids work, and I might have this wrong, but I think I have this right, is that they have nowadays most factions come with 2 abilities. And the 2 abilities, it's like like custodians, for example, the Aquilian shield, the ones that are protecting, they can all do a thing called a heroic intervention, and they can also ignore like a certain AP value. That's what they do. So, for example, High Fleet Behemoth allows it so that you get extra strength on your charge, and you can re-roll your charges. High Fleet Gorgon allows you to do the 4-up always wounding, but they also let you re-roll one roll every time you do a wound roll. Jormungandr is makes it -1 a hit when you're a certain distance away, and also they count as less when it comes to like this blast rule. But the second rule is always an adaptive rule. And so, because it's an adaptive rule, before the game starts, you can actually remove that rule and take a different one from an adaptive trait. So, for example, if you don't like Jormungandr's blast rule, and you see the enemy opponent, and you see your enemy opponent doesn't have a lot of, it's called objective secured, then you can take this lurk biomorphology, which is territorial instincts, which give your monsters objective secured. It's shit like that. It like allows you to do things like that. Or like they have hunt biomorphologies, lurk biomorphologies, and feed biomorphologies. And if you don't like your secondary ability, or you don't think it's going to be good against your matchup, you can swap it out for something else, which allows you to be adaptive Tyranids in game, which is super fun.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, actually being able to be adaptive in game to sort of fit the lore of the Nids being very adaptable, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the Nid psychic phase right now is also extraordinarily overpowered. Their fucking brain shit is so insane.
So insane.
They actually got a new model though. I don't know if Shy has a picture of this. It's called the Parasite of Mortrex. And it's really fun because in melee it can hit you with this little whip attack, and if it wounds you, it infects you with parasites. And at the beginning of your opponent's turn, they have to roll a dice. And if they roll a 4 through 6, they take damage, and they're still infected with parasites.
No.
And they have to keep doing it more and more every turn to see if they're still stuck with parasites. And
gross.
It fucks them up. It makes them like do things wrong and stuff. It's super fun. But that's what the new model looks like.
That's
creepy.
That is a flying creepy bug. Yeah, I would not want to be infected with parasites from that thing. Ugh. Always wear protection, kids.
Oh God.
Also, with the parasites.
Yeah, he doesn't give you the clap. Now last one I want to talk about though, because we made the meme, is the Ouroboros one. Ouroboros, it says tactically the invasion swarms favor airborne operations. They fill the sky with just like billions of gargoyles and other aerial kind of monstrosities, to the point where yes, they literally do block out the sun.
Holy shit. Like they do actually literally block out the sun with bugs?
Like if you look up, you can't see the sun because there are so many bugs.
Holy shit.
It
Then we
makes
will
it
fight to the
really
shade.
it makes it really tough because what happens is that they'll strike with insane speed at command posts. The idea is to chew away the eyes and ears of their prey in a metaphorical sense, like get rid of their communications and get rid of all their visuals. They can't coordinate. And so, you know, divide and conquer. And with a lack of coordination, no one can do things properly, and then they're able to take them easily from the sky. The only enemy that they've fought that isn't very, or that's very immune to this strategy is, can you guess?
The orcs?
Yep, because they don't
go.
coordinate very well
They
to
have
begin
no
with.
coordination at all, yeah.
It's so fun how orcs are being stupid makes them better.
It makes them better suited to fight a smart-ish enemy that's looking to cut off your strategy and your communication and your eyes and your ears.
There's a
Silly
couple
orcs.
other hive fleets as well, but most of them are a lot smaller in terms of scope and scale.
Okay.
Like there's a hive fleet Tiamat, which is a unique chitin that allows them to have excellent protection against like bursts of energy or kinetic force. So they have like diamond hard exoskeletons. That's the idea. There's Hive Fleet Harbinger, which sounds awesome, but has literally no lore at all.
Oh. Then
Yeah,
why
it
does it
makes
exist?
Oh, it's like we fought Hive Fleet Harbinger, like a throwaway line in some kind of.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if they're the Harbingers, maybe they were like the first hive fleet that had ever been seen, and they were the first ones fought, and that's the only thing important about them is that was like their first encounter with the Tyranids or something.
A really weird one is Hive Fleet Colossus, which was mainly comprised of centaur-like creatures.
Oh.
Wait, are these the Zotes? The centaur-like description of these creatures claim they were slaves that had led many fans to speculate the creatures of the Colossus are actually a Zote. Oh, this might not actually be a hive fleet then. This might just be the Zotes and they thought they were Tyranids.
What's a Zote?
Like this, there you go. That's
Oh. Oh.
it's like
Jesus.
it's like a centaur lizard.
Yeah, it's like a lizard centaur thing. Oh, Jesus. How could you mistake that for a Tyranid?
I'm assuming that there is a large amount of like people who just don't know what the fuck a Tyranid is, and so they kind of assumed.
I suppose that's fair. Damn, those things. Like, I would not want to run into a Zote. Those things look ferocious.
Yeah, they're
Holy
big.
shit. Yeah. Jeez. Can you
There's a
imagine
couple
getting hit with that
other-
power claw? Ooh.
That fucking hurt.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones like Hive Fleet Naga, Hive Fleet Ulysses, Hive Fleet Megalodon, which is funny. The Meg, starring Jason Statham.
Oh, God, I had forgotten about that movie. Oh, my
The
God.
Meg. But those are the main ones you could play as in game. Now, of course, naturally, if you want to play as, say, your own kind of, custom fleet, or if you want to try making your own special version of Ouroboros or Tiamat or something of that nature, excuse me, there are additional upgrades and like ways you can mix and match them. I do believe.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, oh no, well, okay, kind of, sort of. If anything, you would pick a prior hive fleet like Hydra or Kronos, like that, and then you would actually just use like one of their biomorphologies maybe instead, and make your own kind of concept. You feel?
Yeah. Also, Shy has a quote. She says, "Check this out, Bricky, the most pathetic hive fleet. Hive Fleet Scarabus. Hive Fleet Scarabus was annihilated by the troops of the 9th Cadian Shock Troopers Regiment at the walls of Fortress Carcassonne in 937.M41. The 9th Cadian did not lose even a single company of troops in this conflict."
Weakest Cadian regiment.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking. It's like,
Oh, okay.
it's like the weakest Cadians because the rest are Giga Chads.
I was like, damn, if the weakest Cadians beat the Hive Fleet all on their own, damn.
Weakest Canadian versus strongest Hive Fleet, exactly.
That's
There's
a
also
shitty
some
Hive Fleet.
there's other fun stuff too. Like they have these things called adaptive physiologies, which is this fun way where you can give buffs to big monsters. Like one of them is called voracious ammunition. It says either host to nests of hungry bioammunition or unique organs, generating a constant stream of biochemical substances. This Xenos brute's organic projectiles continue to sear or consume long after it has moved on to other prey.
Damn.
They got fun stuff like that, you know, or like enraged reserves. Contained deep within the organism's body is a pulsating sac filled with a cocktail of adrenostimulant fluids and linked to a ring of vascular and pneumatic sphincters. When roused, this arrangement pumps its potent biostimulant through the host organism's body, driving the creature to new heights of speed and ferocity.
Damn. All right. Tyranids are dope.
Tyranids are so fucking dope. They've also got a whole bunch of crazy ass psychic powers, like Psychic Scream, which is unleashes the hive mind's psychic shriek, or Nero Parasite is it's so weird. It is a psionic energy into the mind of an organism as raw gray matter gains synaptic sentience and starts chewing its way out of its cranial prison.
Oh, God.
I make your brain turn alive and kill yourself.
Oh my God, dude. Holy shit.
You should eat yourself now.
Oh my God. That is insane. What the fuck?
Yeah, I think what's it do? Yeah, if you roll dice for every single person in the unit, and then if you exceed their toughness, it does like damage.
Jesus Christ.
There's also a bunch of super fun relics. There's the Reaper of Obliterax, the Maw Claws of Thyrax, Pathogenesis, the Scythes of Tyran, the Dirge Hearts of Charis.
Whoa.
One of them is weird. It's just called the Passenger.
What is that?
Named by survivors of the Oricon 2 massacre, this graft organism clings to its host's dorsal chitin and sinks fleshy tubules deep into its body. The passenger siphons off vital fluids to feed its own quivering flesh, exuding replacement liquids laced with doses of hyperadrenaline. Augmented thus by its parasitic companion, the host gains a ferocious turn of speed that helps it run down screaming prey, feeding both itself and the horror on its back. So it's a parasite that attaches to a Tyranid.
Yeah, and it just basically gives it a constant feed of adrenaline.
There's something called the Shard Gullet, the Balethorn Cannon.
Wow.
Tyranids are fucking dope, dude.
Tyranids are so cool. Holy shit. Oh my God. And I love that my opinion of them has changed from being like, oh yeah, they're just this mindless swarm that just heaves forward to, you know, now each of the hive fleets have their different shtick. It's not just about moving all of them forward. Like, I guess my opinion of the Tyranids was just essentially like Hive Fleet Hydra. So it's cool to find out that, like, no, they can be stealthy, they can be sneaky, they can go through the air, they can go underground. That's pretty dope. I'm digging it.
It's very fun, and not only that, but it also makes you kind of like theory. Well, what's nice is that Tyranids are a very popular faction. Well, it might suck right now because they're so incredibly overpowered. At the same time, you could build your own style how you like it. You know, like if you roll up with your fully painted Gorgon army filled with a bunch of just poisonous guns, that's cool. You know? Like I mentioned how strong they are quite often, but obviously if you want to build Tyranids, like fucking build Tyranids. They won't be this strong forever. Like they are going to get nerfed. They have to. Eventually, they are laughable. Like they will get nerfed. And so don't feel bad about buying some Tyranids and playing some Tyranids right now. Like they're super fucking fun.
Yeah.
There's even a unit called the Turvagon, which has a giant fucking sack of tiny bugs in its body, and you can just spit them out on the battlefield.
Oh, gross.
It's so fun. It's like, it literally, it says spawn termagants. Like, you can spawn 10 free termagants, which are little bugs with guns.
That sounds so gross and so fucking amazing all at the same time. I love it. Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure I've shown you a Tervagon. The model is really fucking cool.
The name does sound really familiar.
There it is.
Oh, you have! Yeah, these things are fucking awful, and you're right, they come like spewing out of its belly. It's so gross, and I love it.
And they've got guns. They're spewing out, and they have guns that not only is he making babies, but he's making babies with guns.
With guns.
They're packing heat out of the womb.
They're packing heat right out of the womb. Oh, the mini looks so fucking disgustingly cool, though. Oh my god.
This is what it's like to live in America. Yes, Shy.
This is America, you know?
This is America. This is Texas.
This is Texas. Oh man, Tyranids are so cool. Holy shit.
They are a ton of fun.
Waifus aside, who's your favorite Hive fleet?
That's tough. I've always been kind of a fan of Jormungandr. I like the way they go underneath and cause problems. But I kind of like Gorgon too.
I was gonna say Gorgon and their adaptive weaponry was just, it sounded so fucking brutal and savage and just nightmarish that I'm kind of in on Gorgon.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty darn solid. They're not the best of them all, but I can imagine rolling up with Gorgon and then just like dunking random amounts of fucking bio weaponry and extra damage and infecting people with parasites and crap. It's so much fun. It's so gross.
Yeah, Gorgon, like the sound of their weaponry like makes my skin crawl, and I love it. This is yeah.
And it's fun because you can like totally build for them too. Like if you want to be like a super Gorgon-y style army, you could literally run all of their special abilities, their extra psychic powers, and all this extra stuff, and then you could just dunk wounds on them with pure disgusting bugs. It's just fun. It's just a good time.
The Nids. Ah, it's great. It's great.
The
Great
Nids.
episode. Loved
the
it.
Nids.
The Nids. The Nids.
The Nids have gone to me and gone to my throat. I'm dying.
Yeah, you get hit with a Gorgon. They put all those parasites and bugs in you, man.
I don't want to have the parasites in me. Get them out.
You gotta roll. You gotta roll.
Get them out.
You gotta roll. Roll the dice, Bricky. Roll the dice.
All right, I'm gonna roll the dice. All right, dice roller online. If I roll 4 through 6 and I have parasites still stuck in me writing the episode, roll dice. It's a 5. Fuck.